What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Oak Tree Football Channel. Through the past few years, we've seen some Day 3 draft picks become some of the top players in the NFL, like Dak Prescott or George Kittle or Eddie Jackson. Today, I made a list of 10 Day 3 draft picks from the 2020 NFL Draft that could eventually become, like these players, some of the best in the NFL. Starting with Curtis Weaver. Curtis Weaver falling to the 5th round was really surprising to me. It was a great pick by the Dolphins, and I think Weaver can become a great NFL player. He's coming off a season where he had 19.5 tackles for loss and 13.5 sacks. He was a very productive player for Boise State, and I think the only reason he fell to the 5th round was because he was in the Mountain West Conference, which isn't as good as some of the others. Up next, I have now Broncos tight end Albert Okwuegbunam. Albert Okwuegbunam, or Albert O as some people are calling him, is in my opinion one of the best tight ends in this year's draft. I think he fell because his 2019 season wasn't as good as his other seasons, but that was because he had Kelly Bryant as his quarterback. Before that, Drew Lock was his quarterback, and now he will be reunited with Lock in Denver. He won't be a starter, but I think Okwuegbunam can be successful with the Broncos. Next up is Giants cornerback Darnay Holmes. In my opinion, Holmes is the best nickel quarterback in this year's draft. He had 8 career interceptions for UCLA, and he also had 120 tackles. He's a bit undersized, but has impressive hit power. He's very versatile and is surprisingly fast. If the Giants use him the right way, I think Holmes can be a very good player for them. Next up, we have another cornerback. This one is Amik Robertson, the now Raiders cornerback. Just like Holmes, Robertson is undersized, but is just as productive. He had 14 career interceptions, and he has also shown his ability to blitz, having 4 career sacks and 23 tackles for loss. He's a really good zone quarterback, and will probably work his way up on the Raiders' depth chart so he can get some playing time. Next up, I have Anthony McFarland, the now Steelers running back. McFarland won't be a starter in his first season, but I wouldn't be surprised if he eventually will be the starter. He's very elusive and has the speed to break off on a long run. I think he could have an Alvin Kamara-like impact as a rookie, and he can be very solid in his career with the Steelers. Next up, I have defensive tackle James Lynch, who was taken by the Minnesota Vikings. James Lynch is coming off a great season for Baylor. He had 19.5 tackles for loss and 13.5 sacks. He also added 3 forced fumbles. He was a beast on the defensive line for Baylor, and I was really surprised that it fell to the 4th round. He should get a good amount of playing time for the Vikings and can develop into a star in the NFL. Next up, I have now Cardinals running back Eno Benjamin. I was really surprised to see Benjamin fall to the 7th round. He was really good for Arizona State, and I think he can be solid for the Cardinals as well. I'm not sure if he'll get even 50 carries in his rookie season, but I think in the future they'll give him the ball a lot more, especially when Kenyon Drake leaves the team. Next up, I have center Tyler Biadasz, who was taken by the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure if Biadasz will start as a rookie, but eventually he should get some playing time. He looked really solid in college, and I think he got drafted into a really good position with the Cowboys. The Cowboys can develop him into a really good offensive lineman and maybe even one of the best in the league. Next up, the only quarterback on this list, I have Jacob Eason. Eason was solid in college, with good arm talent and a solid amount of passing yards in his final season. Eason landed in a really good spot with the Colts. He will start as a backup, but it will be to longtime NFL quarterback Phillip Rivers. That can help him learn a lot about the league. I expect the Colts to cut or trade Jacoby Brissett, and I think Eason will become the second string as a rookie. Eventually, he will probably become the starter and can possibly become an NFL star. And the final player on this list, who I think can develop into the best player, I have wide receiver Tyler Johnson, who was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 5th round. Johnson was dominant for Minnesota in college, going over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in his last 2 seasons. I was shocked that he fell to the 5th round, and he was drafted into a great position with the Buccaneers. He joins 2 of the top receivers in the league with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I think he can become one of Tom Brady's favorite targets, and he can keep developing until he becomes possibly a top receiver in the NFL. So that's going to be about it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, and if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.